there, everyone. I'm Heidi Walker, and today I have got the pleasure of interviewing Rachel Smets for Inspiring Global Entrepreneurs. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hi, Heidi. Great. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Well, thank you so much for being here at the start of 2016. When Megan and Fenn and I originally wrote Inspiring Global Entrepreneurs, we did it kind of it launched in November, Global Entrepreneurship Week, just over 2 years ago. And we're really big into really marking certain milestones like the new year, certain successes and whatnot. So I think that, Rachel, you really are the perfect person for us to be speaking to at the start of a new year.
Thank you.
And I know that you are actually at the start of a new enterprise with RachelSmets.com. And that although you had been working with your expat to inpat and learned a lot from that last year, you making this change to RachelSmets.com is quite significant. And maybe you could just tell us a little bit about how you're using your your current and previous expat experience to actually bring RachelSmets.com to life.
Sure. Thank you. Great introduction, actually. Well, I am indeed an expat still now for, let's say, about 15 years. I've lived in several countries, most of them in Europe, UK, Scotland, France, Spain, Netherlands, obviously, Germany, and I love it. And I love languages as well. I speak 6 languages, so
Amazing.
I always in each country searched for a job and then moved. So I was never taking any big financial risks, which is something I really want to avoid because I don't have a family, I'm not married, I have nobody to support me, so I need to have some financial income. And that's why I always make sure to have a job, which is something I still do have right now. And it's something I do want to mention that it is obviously a big passion of mine to develop my own business, but I still have a job currently. But yes, I did develop a business, let's say last year, Expat to Impact, and for the whole year, I've been in much contact with expats, other expats, interviewing them, sharing my experiences as an expat for 15 years now, really trying to support and help other expats and gain information from them as well, and trying to help other people. And actually for the whole year, I made a lot of videos, a lot of tutorials, a lot of classes, and I've been teaching a lot about cultures and about languages and about how I integrate in every country, because I love meeting people. And there's some techniques, I would say, to integrate faster, which I've used all the time and which I love to share to others. So I made a lot of videos on YouTube as well. And I've been, giving a lot of classes about that, about cultures, about languages. So that's something I do love. However, and I would say, I've now, like you say, in the 2016s now, I created now RachelSmets.com, which I'm still developing, but it's nearer and closer and dearer to me. Because I am using all of my experience, but I'm focusing more on helping people that are, let's say, inconfident and insecure, or that want to change their lives to something different. It doesn't have to be moving abroad. It can be anything. But it's closer to me because actually when I think about it, I used to be very shy, very silent, very insecure, really loving my comfort zone, not liking to change anything at all, and very scared of meeting new people and talking to people. Whereas now, with all the experience that I've gained, I am so much more confident, and it's also helped me to easily find a new job and talk to people and network and learning what I've learned and still learn. So that's actually what I want to share, and why I created this website, so I can actually be more of I don't know, support to gain confidence, to increase your confidence, to learn about languages, cultures. So that's near and dear. So that's why the change.
No, it's wonderful, and I think that one of the things that Megan and I have learned, and what any of the entrepreneurs that we've ever interviewed have learned, is that it's really important to trust the feedback that you are getting yourself in terms of about how you are feeling about what you're working on, and to be able to know when that's also going to give you more energy for actually doing the work that you love, and is going to mean that you can have the passion for it for a sustained period of time, especially when you are balancing both a full-time job and a startup at the same time. And I think I think that we need to be able to listen to that voice. As entrepreneurs, I think we have no better voice than our instincts on, okay, just let me focus on this. This is wonderful. I had this original idea, and not be afraid to make those small improvements, if it were, to actually really hone your message. Because I think we sometimes always think, okay, everyone has like this business in a box, and they launched, we see a successful business and we think that they launched like that from the start. And what we don't hear about enough, and that's what Megan and I felt very strongly about, was we felt we didn't hear enough about that startup journey, about making those incremental changes so that you actually, your business is growing the whole entire time. But rarely does someone just go boom, unless it's a franchise. Rarely is it just a, fully formed product from the start. And that is a journey. It's an evolutionary journey to actually find the product, the company, and that's really important. So I really commend you on doing that, and actually doing it relatively quickly, in terms of, just a year after starting the expat to impact piece, and then realizing, this focusing really on what is the Rachel Smets brand is what I'm really hearing. What is it that I specifically bring to the table, and that you're bringing that to life with RachelSmets.com. So I really love that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I agree that it's a lot of hard work and a lot of networking, talking to people. And indeed, what you said is really true. Is that I've noticed after everything I've been doing that people are asking me these questions, and it's really based on the feedback that I develop and that I learn to know what I am good at and what people like to hear from me. And just for example, like languages, I get a lot of people asking me to teach them conversational language, because I'm not a grammar teacher. I'm certainly not a language teacher, although I speak 6 languages. But I love teaching languages in a way of conversations, because I've noticed that in every country I've lived, I learned the language, not the whole grammar study, boring, frustrating courses, but really it's the conversation that matters. It's getting out there and being able to speak to the local people, and that's what I'm bringing to the people. It's like, okay, let's learn French and let's have conversations, and let's take topics that are of your need and interest, and let's make it fun. And let's not stick to those big grammar, complicated stuff. And that's how I take it, and that's how that's fun, and that's learning, but in a fun way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the other piece that you've touched on, and I want to talk about the languages in just a minute, but before I move on to that, I really want to touch on this other piece that we talked about when we were just introducing ourselves before we jumped on the call, is that, really the realities of starting a business are, unless you're selling, kind of something maybe in a shop, even then, even if you are selling it, chances are that you've borrowed money in order to buy the product, and it's a while before the actual money starts rolling in. Regardless of what magic anyone might tell you, it is, to actually get to a profitable business is a lot of work, and it takes time. And a very viable option is exactly what you are doing at the moment, which is exploring and following your passion at the same time as balancing with a full-time job. And I just think that is something that, if we're talking about the realities of entrepreneurship, and someone is watching this who's thinking about branching out, for them to know that is an option. I think sometimes it can be quite scary for people to think, oh my gosh, I have to throw in the towel on what I'm doing at the moment, and that makes them actually not take the step towards their passion. And I love what you're doing, which is taking steps every single year to actually bring that passion, alive. And I really want to encourage people listening and watching this to think about that as a very viable option. What are the 2 things that they could do this year, or even just the next 3 months at the start of 2016, to actually start bringing that passion to life, whether it's blogging, whether it's thinking about a name, whether it's thinking about a logo, whether it's thinking about a website. What would your advice be to someone who's thinking, oh my gosh, I have this passion, I have this great idea that I really want to follow, but I can't afford to do it without my current job, so I just won't do it at all. What would you say to that person who's maybe not taking that leap?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nice how many people are saying all the time. You hear it all over you. Like, oh, you have to follow your heart and you have to follow your passion and just go for it, go for it. How many times do I hear that? And not just to me, but to or just around you. Yes, it's great. Yes, there are people that jump and that take a risk and that succeed. But those, I think, are really just a very few number that really succeed. And I think it's much wiser to take a longer road, just go from A to B, but just take the time to get there and not just take so many risks. I mean, it's so sad to see many people that do want to jump and take a big risk and then fail. I mean, I can name a lot of those numbers, okay, because they are much higher in number than the ones that really just jump and succeed. So I would really encourage everybody to just, don't take too high risks, okay? Yes, it's important to take action, and yes, I've taken risks, but thought about them a lot, and yes, I mean, I've moved to many countries, and those are challenges, and those are risks, but I always managed to have a job and to have financial income, and then all the rest was a big question mark, which is a risk, but I could find my way around because I had a financial, a job which gave me a salary. So I think that's important. Yes, it's very important to continuously take action towards your passion. I mean, I'm working a job, but in the evenings and the weekends, I'm very, very dedicated to seek and continue to how to follow my passion. So for the whole year, I've been working really hard. I work full time, and in the evenings and the weekends, I really spend time on asking people, networking, making videos, making creations. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But if you don't do anything, it won't come, okay? So I think dedication, discipline, taking action, don't sit back and think all the time, but do stuff. And that's how you learn. And the more sometimes people are saying, oh, Rachel, don't you just take a rest and do nothing? And I'm like, no, I don't want to rest. I want to know where this is going. And if I don't do anything and I sit on my ass and on the couch all day, then nothing is going to happen. So if you're really passionate about something, yeah, I think you should take action towards it, but not too high of a risk.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that becomes another, if it's too high of a risk, that becomes a fear that then actually sabotages what you're trying to do, as well. And I will never forget, in the book, one of the first people we interviewed was actually Johnny Robinson and his wife, Sarah. I used to work with Sarah at Bloomberg in London. They left London. They have an amazingly successful accommodation holiday spot in Spain. And they have, they're winning awards. I think they just got best, European hotel by Mumsnet recently. And it's an amazing success. But I will never forget interviewing Johnny and him talking about when they first got started and how, Sarah stayed in Spain with their young family. And he went back to London and was working in the financial district to actually earn money, to actually fund the project and to fund the passion. And if he hadn't done that, it would not have been, they would have had to pack up and go back to London. And that story always really stuck with me because we just don't hear enough about that, I think, sometimes. And I think our culture of kind of this positive reinforcement is great, but I think you're right. There's, I always look, when people are sending those kind of, motivational statements through, I usually always look and say, what website is it coming from? Because it's usually coming from a startup or someone who is really struggling to kind of make it, and they're kind of kind of trying to re-energize themselves, or it's coming from someone who's actually trying to sell you a product and telling you how successful you'll be if you just buy this thing. And so I just think it's really important for people to be aware of that as an option. And if more people took that option to balance the full-time job with their passion for even a short while, I think we would have, I think there would be more than or less than an 80% fail rate for startups, because that is the fail rate. It is 80%. 20% are successful. So we're all about wanting to do whatever we can to, encourage people to successfully set up their dream business in a foreign country or even in their home country. And I think that is one way that could make it very possible. So Rachel, we cannot finish our call without getting to the languages. And the fact that you speak 6 languages, you're originally from Belgium, and I know the Belgian education system does an amazing job of the languages, but it sounds to me as though really your real passion for languages has come from your actual being able to live the languages in the actual cultures that you've worked and lived in over the years. What advice do you have for someone who is out there in another country who wants to really learn the language or has been trying it with the classes, just isn't getting where they want to be? What advice do you have for them so that they could actually have that experience as well?
Yeah. I'm gonna try not to talk too long because I'm so passionate about it, and I think it's again something that people misjudge, saying, oh, you're a nature, or you're from that or that country, or for me, when you're from Belgium, then but you're naturally good in language just because you're from there. No way. No way. It's hard work too. It's just like a startup business. It's like anything else. It's hard work, and I have to learn it too. But again, it's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of discipline, and it's dedication, and it's for me. I want to spend time with it, and I force myself to spend time learning the language because I want to be able to meet and integrate with other people and cultures. And the language is something that has made my life so much easier in all of these countries and more. I can really go and travel the world, and I can, of course not in every country, but I mean, just at the airport, I can talk to basically anybody I want. And it just, when I'm living in a new country and you really want to understand the culture and really feel home, it just has helped me so much, because you can say, most people think, oh, but the whole world speak English. Yeah, I guess so, but do they really, or are they really going to help you? I mean, like living in France, the French people, maybe they understand some English, but they're not going to really help you if you don't talk their language. Mm-hmm. Spain is the same. I mean, I can go on and on about examples, and I won't. I just want to say that, again, it's something I spend time learning, and I've forced myself to learn. And in each country where I've lived, I forced myself to go out there and talk to the local people. A lot of times people ask me, oh, in that and that country, are there a lot of Belgians? I don't care. If I want to meet Belgians, I'll go back to Belgium. I want to be in a new country and learn about the new culture and meet local people. And now I can say I have friends in every country, really good relationships that I've built because I've learned the culture and I wanted to meet the local people. And they also love you more or help you more, and you just get closer to the people because you speak their language. It's amazing how they open up to you if you speak the language. And it's amazing how wonderful relationships I've been able to build because of the language. And I don't want to stop learning, but I want to learn more. But the other thing is, it's all great to learn new languages, but you have to practice it.
Yes.
So that's why I'm doing these conversations lessons as well with people, because it's all about practice. If you learn a language and you're not able to practice it, it's like anything else. If you stop riding your bike, you're gonna lose it again. But if you got it once, it's like riding a bike too, and driving a car. Once you get back into the car, it's like an automatic pilot. But you have to keep practicing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna stop right there.
No, absolutely. And I think I wanted to focus on that because I think it's 2016, and I'm sure people out there who will be watching will have that as a goal, and it'll either be the year that they get it going or yet another year that it sits on that list. And, my time in Beijing was absolutely transformed. I only learned a few words of Chinese, but actually it was transformed when I could actually tell a taxi driver which way to go. And I could tell a taxi driver to stop, or I could say how many bags I needed at the grocery store. And actually, it worked much better for me just doing that type of thing than sitting in the classroom did.
Exactly. And can I just add one small thing is that people are afraid sometimes that it's going to be complicated or hard. And I just really want to say there's so many small things you can do that are fun and that will teach you the language. I mean, just turn on the radio or small. Yes. I won't go on to the whole list, but make little word cards and hang them up in your house. Turn on the TV. Like last night I was putting on an Italian challenge because I don't practice my Italian enough. I just put it on and I just hear it in the background. Those are all small little fun things that doesn't do
Absolutely.
But it helps you. And there's loads of little things that are fun.
Absolutely. I think my key takeaway from living in China and learning some Chinese was actually that I think I started the formal classes too early when we first got there. And what was better for me was actually hearing the tones just by being out and about in the playground, the grocery store, hearing it when then I was in a better place to understand what they were talking about when they were talking about that. So that for me worked really well. I think everyone learns differently, but for me that was definitely my biggest takeaway. And I never, ever, ever in my life thought I would learn Chinese, even a word of Chinese. So yes, I completely agree. So I think let's make 2016 the year for people who are out there thinking about following their passion, that they can think about following it. Even if that means balancing a full-time job at the same time. We're here, you're hearing Rachel say, go for it. Just take some actions, make a start, and who knows where you will be at this time at the beginning of 2017. And then the same for the languages. Just do a couple of simple things, even if it's just, saying, if you're in another country and just saying, hey, would someone just like to meet up at the coffee shop for a conversational chat so we can each just be practicing our language with each other. I saw people doing that in Beijing all the time. And, it's just a wonderful way to get yourself out there and connect with the culture that you're living in a different way. So, Rachel, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. You've inspired me because, the language piece is one that I've never fully gotten one down. And my father-in-law did in his 50s. He learned to speak Spanish fluently. So I've still got that on my bucket list. So, all right, this might be the year I need to do it. So thank you. So I really wish you all the best with RachelSmets.com. Please do keep us informed. And we really do look forward to hearing all that goes for you. And for anyone else out there who wants to hear more stories like Rachel's and to learn from others who've been there and done that and shared really the down and the dirty of what it really means to start up your own business, either in your home country or foreign. We focus mostly on foreign countries in our book, Inspiring Global Entrepreneurs, but we really do. All of the entrepreneurs have always shared truly the true story of what it really takes. So we really recommend you getting a copy of our book. All right, Rachel, thank you.
If anybody has questions or any comments or anything at all, I'll give you my details so people can contact me.
Yeah, fantastic. Rachel has a ton of resources on RachelSmets.com. So do check that out. And also on her other site that she was using mainly last year, Expat to Impact, as well. So do check both of those out. All of her contact details are there. Wonderful. Rachel, it's been great starting 2016 with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heidi.